No, this is not a bouquet because I won a beauty pageant. This is rhubarb. My son Joshua just picked it for me this morning, so it's time for me to make strawberry rhubarb jam. So this is how it looks. And all you do is, this is beautiful. It's so beautiful. You just pull it out. You don't have to cut it. It just comes right out. I have probably eight bushes of rhubarb. I have been making rhubarb crisp, and I have made, or my mother-in-law made a rhubarb dessert where you put like a meringue on it, super wonderful. And my kids absolutely love strawberry rhubarb jam, especially Grandma Dodie's. And I always forget to pick all my rhubarb. I'll pick it to make desserts, but then I don't take advantage of it to make jam. And so I have my strawberries back here. I got these big, huge strawberries for like $3. And I also picked up blackberries for 50 cents a container, and then raspberries. I think they're 50 cents or $1. So I thought, you know what? I want to use up all the fruit. And so I think I'm going to make a triple berry where you do strawberry, blackberry, and raspberry jam. So today, the graduation's done. We've cleaned up. Joshy grabbed the rest of it because we've already picked 2 buckets of this. So Joshy's bringing it over. So now I'm going to start getting this all cleaned up. Did you get perfect? Oh, thank you. And you can drain the water out of it too, hun. Yeah, so Joshy's helped me out. So now it's time to get the strawberry rhubarb jam going. So today is just making jam. It's going to literally take me all day to do this, but that's okay. My family loves it. They love it on toast. And us, I don't know about, normal people, but for our family, when we do butter, like butter on toast, we lather it. You can see it puddling on the top, and then you put this strawberry rhubarb jam over it. Ooh, it's absolutely amazing. So, all right, so beautiful. Thank you, Josh. He's working super hard for me. I tried to make my jam last week, but we were so busy because of Izzy's graduation, having family come in. Just so many things were going on. So I soaked my rhubarb in water, kept them in the refrigerator. So I cleaned them up. I got the ends cut. And so if you've never had rhubarb before, it is very tart. A lot of people like the tart. Like my mother-in-law will make a strawberry rhubarb crisp, but she'll also make just rhubarb. My husband loves rhubarb. There's a lot of things you can do with rhubarb. I mean, you can make desserts, you can make breads, you can make jams. I mean, it is a sign of summer. Spring and summer is here. My husband planted rhubarb years ago, and I haven't been taking advantage of it. And now I'm thinking, okay, I need to start utilizing my resources more. But it is very tart, and that's why I like to add it to the strawberries, and my kids absolutely love it. Now, I have made rhubarb in the past where it was just the rhubarb jam, and I also made like a sauce that you could put over ice cream, or maybe you're making a dessert and you just want to kind of pour over something. So I have done that in the past, and my kids absolutely love it. I've also done I've cooked the rhubarb down and made it like a syrup. There was still some chunks in it, but it was more of like a syrup for like pancakes and stuff. So rhubarb is tart, but it's super tasty, especially when you pair it with the strawberries. So now I'm just gonna start preparing them. I normally do, got a little piece of grass here. I normally do a low sugar jam, but you have to get the pectin that is made for low sugar. And so I'm just gonna do the traditional Grandma Dodie strawberry rhubarb jam. I have my big tub of sugar up here, my lemon juice, so it calls for 2 cups of chopped strawberries, 2 cups of chopped rhubarb, and I'm actually gonna cut the rhubarb a little smaller because it is more stiffer than the strawberries. So as the fruit is cooking, I actually thought about maybe possibly putting a little water in and cooking the rhubarb ahead of time, because you wanna taste the rhubarb, but yet you don't want like, like crunchy. And so it's the rhubarb, strawberries, the lemon juice, and the sugar. So I'm just gonna start prepping these, and I am gonna double each one. Now I would be careful, especially if you have to make a lot. I would try and not, if you adjust the recipe and like do quadruple, or like you triple it or quadruple it, it might not set on you, and you have to put it in a water bath. Some people actually just get it really hot, like my sister. She makes sure the rim is clear. She seals it and then puts it upside down until it cools, and that seals it. But I just like to throw it in my water bath. It takes just maybe not even 10 minutes, and then it's sealed. So I'm gonna double mine, but I would be careful to triple it or quadruple it, because you wanna make sure that it sets. And if you, start putting too much in there, it might not set. I have a bigger pan than this, but it has cowboy beans in it right now. So I'm gonna have to just do my smaller one, and just be really careful so when you're heating it up, it will start popping on you, especially when you add the pectin. So the pectin is 4.5 tablespoons of pectin. I actually got a big one from my mother-in-law. She went down to Shipshewana and brought me a whole bag of pectin. So I had to measure it out as 1.75 ounces, which ends up being 4.5 tablespoons. So it's 4.5 tablespoons of pectin, 2 cups of rhubarb chopped, 2 cups of strawberry chopped, and then I believe it's 5 cups of sugar, and then 4 tablespoons of lemon juice. So now it's time to just get processing all these fruits, get them into the pan, because we're gonna add the strawberry and rhubarb and the pectin. Well, strawberry and rhubarb, cook it with the lemon juice till it gets hot. Then we add the pectin. Then we boil it and boil it until you can stir it and it doesn't stop. Then we add all the sugar at once, stir it again, and bring it to a boil. And then you have to transfer it to your jars right away because it sets right away. So if you don't get it into your jars hot, it will start setting on you, and then it gets all gooey and it's hard to clean up. So it is a process that takes, you have to be like right on the money. Get all of your ingredients ready to go. Measure out your sugar. I have a little butter tube because if it starts to foam, you can put like a little pat of butter on top and it'll keep the foaming from going over your pan. So measure out your pectin, get your fruit prepared, measure out your sugar, measure out your lemon juice, because it is something where you have to just go like this, fast, fast, fast. So this is all I have planned today. I even though I have a pile of dishes from the graduation, my house is semi-destroyed, my laundry is crazy. I am just purposing today to just utilize my beautiful rhubarb. I think I might make the boys a crisp again. And I think I'm gonna make it a little thicker. The last time I made it, well, Izzy made it. I made it before hers. Hers turned out really good. Mine was kind of watery, and I think it's because the strawberries have a lot of water in them, and you have to make sure that the water's kind of out of it because you add your sugar, your cinnamon on top. So I don't know, maybe we'll make a rhubarb crisp today. I cannot talk. Maybe we'll make one today after I've done all this. We'll make a nice dessert for my family when they get home. Okay, time to prep the fruit. I haven't really sung to you guys in a while. So there you go. I end up cutting a little bit more rhubarb because I do like a lot of fruit. You can mash the strawberries if you want. It is 4.5 cups. Well, it's 2 cups, but I did 4 because I'm doubling. So you can mash the strawberries. Looks like I have a little bit of green there. You can mash the strawberries if you want. I didn't because the strawberries are going to cook down faster than the rhubarb, so I wanted the rhubarb time to get soft. So I have it in here. I got the burner on. I'm actually going to add my lemon juice. So it's 4 tablespoons of lemon juice, but because I doubled my recipe, it's 8. And I'm just going to cook this just for a little bit because you add the pectin, but you got to add the pectin and you want it dissolved. So I'm just going to cook these strawberries just a little bit, maybe for 5 minutes, just to soften them and to get some liquids going from the fruit. I have my jars all washed. The the seals, the lids, everything is washed, and I like to wash them and then put them in the strainer. And I like them to air dry because I don't want to be putting like a towel and stuff in there because if the towel's dirty. But we're gonna be putting them in hot water, so it's gonna sanitize it anyway. Oop. My stove's a little crazy because we had such a big week this week. So I'm just mixing the lemon juice in here. Some fruits you don't have to add lemon juice to it, but for this recipe you do. All right, so I'm just gonna continue cooking this maybe on medium heat for about 5 minutes, just so it can start softening, like I said, and getting some of the juices of the fruit. All right, that looks good. All right, I'm gonna turn that down a little bit. Okay, so now I'm gonna add the pectin. It's 4.5 tablespoons of pectin. And you wanna stir that until it is completely dissolved and it's gonna be shiny. I think my burner was up a little too much. Looks good already though. So I'm gonna use bigger jars than I normally use. I normally use the tiny little jelly jars, but my kids love it so much that I know it's gonna go fast. You're just gonna stir that till it's completely dissolved. Then you're gonna let it go on the high heat and you're gonna cook it until it starts to bubble, and you can't stop it by stirring. So like if you stop stirring, you'll see it start to bubble through out of it, and see you can kind of see a little bit. And so when I stir it, it takes the bubbles away. So if you can take the boiling, I guess, away, not bubbles, boiling away by stirring it, then it's not ready. So you should be able to stir it and it still is boiling. And be very careful because when it starts splattering, it hurts really bad. Wow, this is beautiful color, so beautiful. Make sure you get all that fruit in there. And we're gonna be putting it in a water bath for 10 minutes. This is my water bath here. I've already heated the water up. And then I got my jars ready to go. And so once we can stir this and it's at a rolling boil, we're then gonna add all the sugar in at once. So the whole 10 cups. That's why I added a little bit more fruit to it, because normally I do a low sugar one, but I don't have that low sugar pectin. And it is what it is. And it's not like you use the whole jar in your toast either. You just use like a tablespoon. So it's okay. You can also substitute honey. I've never done that before. I do have lots of honey downstairs. I'd love to try that. And I'm assuming it's the same amount. I don't know if you reduce it. I'd have to look into that if you have to reduce the amount of sugar if you use honey. You can also use a liquid pectin. If you use a liquid pectin, the measurements are a little bit different. And then of course, if you use the low sugar pectin, you use way less sugar. All right, so we'll see if it starts boiling. I like to use my really tall one, but like I said, it has cowboy beans in it, but I like the really tall one. It's a lot wider, so when it starts bubbling and spurting, coming out of your pan, it's big enough that it keeps it in there, so it's not like going all over your stove and all over you. All right, so it's bubbling, so we're gonna stir, and it's still not doing a rolling boil, so we're gonna keep doing this till it does a rolling boil. All right, so it is boiling and starting to foam up as I stir, so now we're gonna add all the sugar into it. I had to actually do 2 because I couldn't fit it all in. Woo-wee, look at that sugar, crazy. Oh, now we're just gonna stir this, get all that sugar melted. There we go, and it's gonna go fast. It's gonna start, see how it's already, wow, that melted really fast. So you're just gonna stir it till it starts to have a hard boil. Look how beautiful that looks. And it's gonna be really hot, so be careful when you're messing with it. Look how beautiful that is, nice and shiny. So we're just gonna keep stirring it. And then once it gets to a rolling boil, then you're gonna stir it consistently for 1 minute. You want it to do a hard boil. That's where it's gonna be splattering a little bit on you, so be careful, or put long sleeves on, whatever. And we'll get this nice and hot. That looks beautiful. I like how there's still some strawberries in there too. That'll be good. All right, so it's starting to boil through. See how it's got the foam on it? Just stick a little bit of butter in there, and the butter will help take care of the foam once the butter melts in there. It'll keep it from foaming over. I don't normally put the butter in, but I noticed it is foaming quite a bit. And just like a pat of butter. I mean, if I have to put some more in there, I can too. All right, it's looking good. So we're just waiting for that rolling boil. See how it's starting to come to the top too? Got that nice little boil on the edges here. It smells so good. I feel like I'm baking. It's so nice. So we're just gonna keep stirring it because we want that rolling boil, and it is close. Smells amazing. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna think that we are got a boil here. Turn down the heat a little bit. You want to stir consistently. See how it's starting to splatter. So once it gets to a rolling boil, we're going to time it for a minute. This is why I like to use my tall pans, because it does get really close to the top. I did double my recipe. It smells so good. I think I'm gonna add a little bit more fruit to my next batch though. But it looks good, it smells good. And my husband walked in, he's like, ooh, you making jam? I said, yes. He's like, wow, that's really nice looking. All right, see how we're starting to get a boil here? But we want it rolling, rolling. Doesn't look like that butter's really helping. I mean, maybe a little bit, I guess. Yeah, I guess it is. There's not as much foam as there was earlier. That's actually the beautiful jam. My canner only does 6. I should have got my bigger canner that doesn't have the dividers. I can get a ton in there. All right, so I'm gonna say this is a hard boil. So I'm gonna start the timer, and then I'm gonna do this until the minute is up, and then start putting it hot into my jars. And whoo, it's already getting on my hands. Got my jars, my funnels. Now we're going to fill this. I am right-handed, so it's kind of a little difficult. So we're just gonna fill it until it gets to this rim here. And it is going to look like water because it's hot. It will set, as it sets, it becomes thicker. It looks beautiful though, holy cow. So nice. And it is hot, and your cabinet is gonna be, whew, it's gonna be all sticky. Just expect the mess. And I think that's wonderful. I still have big chunks of strawberries in here too. If you overfill it, just grab a spoon before you put it in. We do have to wipe all the tops. That's why I'm not putting the lids on. You got to make sure that there's nothing on the edges here, because if there is, it won't seal. Beautiful. And I'm gonna put it in the canner probably for 10 minutes, just enough to seal the tops. All right, that looks great. I'm gonna do a little bit more in here. A bunch of small ones. We're gonna do a couple big ones. All right. This jam goes so fast. My mother-in-law every year will make all the kids one for themselves, and Robert usually eats everybody's. This is his hands down favorite jam. I haven't made it in a while. I do strawberry, I do blackberry, blueberry. I have a really good lemon orange marmalade. Oh, is it amazing? I like to use it when I cook. I haven't made it in a long time. I should make that. Oh, it has lemons, limes, oranges. It's like a marmalade, but it's, oh, yummy, yummy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So it does about 8 jelly jars, and I doubled mine. I wish I could put all this in the canner, but I can't. So I'm gonna still fill the jars and put the lids on. So while the other ones are going, these ones will be ready because it doesn't take long. Oh, 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 I'm telling you, it's hot, really hot. I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? Okay. Oh, this canning jar I got at the ice cream place. I hope it's like a regular canning jar. I guess we'll find out if it can withstand heat. And that one. All right, there we go. It's already thickening as we speak. Okay, so I have a wet cloth here. You're just gonna wipe around the edges. Like I said, I got the water going. This is just so fast. Like it's a really fast process. You gotta just get moving on it because you'll lose jams and they'll solidify on you before you sealed them. I do like to clean in between each batch though, because there is gonna be sticky all over. And then I like to go over them with my finger again just because I want to make sure that there's no sticky on them. Izzy's upstairs sleeping. She was at her all-night grad party. They got there at 8 and they had to be out by 5. And then I guess some of the parents took the kids to go look at the sunrise. So that was nice. And then now she's sleeping. Probably gonna watch a little bit of Gilmore Girls today. Okay. All right, just double checking. I just want to make sure I have no fruit or sticky or perfect. And I've already cleaned up these. So the seals are all nice. All of them can't go in this batch, but they'll be ready to go and I'll start another batch so I don't want to do just an empty one. I want it to be full. Because you'll be here all day if you put 3 in. All right, cool. These jars are toasty. And then I have my canning tongs to pull it out of the water. I have so many downstairs. I guess I didn't realize how much I was gonna be making today. I probably could get 2 canners. Ooh, they are hot. So just be very careful. That's a good sign. The hotter the better. That means your pectin's working. That means, oh, I'm gonna use a different one because I don't know if anything got on that. Even a little tiny like crumb or hair or something, it will cause the whole thing to not seal. It needs to be perfect. Oh. So I like to put 2 in at a time because I want it to balance. I don't want the whole thing to flip over. Looks like I can put 7 in here. That works out good. Okay. You want to make sure the water goes over the tops of the lids because they're not going to seal if you know what? I might. What's the chances of me being able to just, nah. You don't want to do that because when it shakes, you don't want your jars to break. Okay. There we go. 1 batch in. Summer's here. So I'm working on my 3rd batch. Here's what I have so far. Then I have a couple in here going for another couple minutes. Oh, one just popped for us. And so after I get done with that, then I'm going to do the raspberry and blackberry. Then I'm going to save one of the strawberries because I want to make a rhubarb crisp for everybody. But it's going pretty well. Look at this. I've used a ton of my sugar too. So yeah, last batch is going right here. About to add the sugar. And then it's on to other kinds and making a rhubarb crisp. Right, here's all the jam. Looks like I did 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 strawberry rhubarbs, 5, 6, 7 raspberries, 6 blackberries, and then look at this. How yummy does that look? Ooh-wee, that is nice. All right, well, thank you so much for joining me. I'm making my strawberry rhubarb jam and my strawberry rhubarb crisp. Make sure to subscribe and like to our family page. And all right, can't wait to give this to my children. They're gonna love it.